It's time for
It's Fanboy Weekly for all you geeks, nerds, and blurs. Let's get our geek on.
Welcome back. It is Fanboy Weekly. I'm David, and this is part of the 5x5 shows that you know that I do weekly. I haven't been on a lot here recently because the other night I wasn't feeling good, and sometimes life just happens, and sometimes you get a little burned out, and I've been a little distracted by working on some other stuff. But I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you're here listening to me ramble and talk about one of my most favorite things in the world to talk about: comic books, fanboy stuff, geek stuff, all that kind of stuff that normal adults don't talk about. But who wants to claim to be normal? I am not a conformist, but it's something I've always done. If you haven't listened to the show before, a collector on and off for years, since a kid. I'm actually looking for a comic book that was one of the first, actually two, one of the first comic books that I ever received. It was, and this is where the gay comic book person comes in. It was an ISIS book, and I remember she was being attacked by a dragon or something. I was with my grandmother, and we was at a little local mom and pop grocery store, and they had remember the old comic book racks that they used to have, and you spin around and look, and I remember picking up the book and this little bitty ISIS. Remember when they had the Shazam and ISIS power? I've talked about that show a lot of times here, but and I just remember because since the show is out, that's when they had a comic book at the time. She's going on to do different things, and they still use names and stuff from the show. I think the main character, which I think her name was Andrea, possibly, but I'm not sure. You remember in Smallville they had an ISIS episode, but it wasn't what we wanted in the form of a comic book hero. But I'm looking for that. I can't remember if anybody knows. It's the ISIS comic book that has her on the front as a big green dragon, and that's been emblazoned on my memory. And also, I want to say it's either Defenders. It has to be a Defenders, because this is why I don't have any money. Well, not that I don't have any money. Well, this is why I don't have any money from my comic book collection from when I used to collect as a child, because I used to cut them out, and I used to make I like the little the comic books. I used to cut them out. Of course, I wasn't allowed to have a knife or anything, but I would tear them out, cut them out, or whatever, and I would they were my dolls, I guess you would say, and I used to use those little thin comic book papers, like newspaper almost, and I would play with those, and I would lay them all in a little shoebox, and then when I'd play with them, I'd take them out, and there was a chick. I think she was Indian, and she had wings or her horse had wings, and it was the Defenders or it was a Legion of Superheroes, and this would be from the 70s, mid 70s. When I was little, like I was 5 or 6, but so I'm looking for those. But welcome. Kind of got off tangent before we really got started, but that's how we do here. I just kind of jump around and talk about different things that's going on pertaining to my fanboy world. And the fanboy is just not comic books. It can be television show, Star Wars. It could be games. Just different things. To me, somebody might have a different idea what it is, but I think anything you're passionate about, and it makes you feel like a kid again, and you're serious about it, and you have to know everything about it. I think that's what makes you a fanboy or fangirl. My niece now, I talk about her a lot as well. She's into Buffy, and so I say, "Oh, you're fangirling out on Buffy," because I'm a Buffy, I'm a Buffy fanboy, and that's one of the things that I loved. I loved the show, and but comic books have always been a passion of mine. But but they can be so expensive. And now that I'm getting into more collecting older issues, I was distracted today. I have the original series of Magic. Remember Magic when she it started when it was her and Storm. They was in that alternate Belasco universe where she was tortured to become the demon child and trained, not really tortured. And I think the origins kind of changed because then Ileana was grown up in the comic books when she came back, and then she was reverted to a child. Then she died from the legacy virus. Remember that in the X-Men books, and then she came back. So and like I said, I've and am I yelling? I feel like I'm yelling into the microphone. Um, so if I am, I do apologize. I don't mean to yell. Uh, yeah, I do. I'm just mean. Um, but and so I had it was a mini series called Magic. Is it Magic or Magique? I like saying Magique because this sounds more mutant like. More superhero like. I've always liked that character. That's Peter Rasputin's sister, which is Colossus, and that series. And I bought that after it was popular. Of course, I bought that in the late '90s, possibly, and I didn't take care of it like I should have. Which a lot of my comic books, because I'm a reader, not just a collector, to see how much value it can accrue, but I like collecting comic books just for the simple fact that I like to read them. I like the fantasy of it. I like the stories because there are some deep stories, and I've shared with you guys my feelings on how the X-Men kind of mimics race modern day race relations and tolerance and bigotry. That's why I like those books, and I think that's why that I identified with it so much. The X-Men, although the X-Men animated series, I do have the whole run, and it's all well. You know what? It used to be on Netflix. It's not there anymore. The whole X-Men animated series used to be on Netflix, but it's not there anymore. They have some other things now, but it's not there. Go figure. But so I identified with the X-Men in that way, and I used to be a really heavy collector back in I would say in the 90s, in the mid to late 90s. I collected pretty heavily. Then I stopped because I was grown. I thought I was grown, and not that I still went to comic book stores. I never lost the passion for it. But then money get a little funny, and you can't buy the books you want to buy because they're so expensive. And I was kind of turned off by the fact that they were so expensive, and and they're even more expensive now, and not expensive in the where to me $2.99, $3.99 for a book. It's sometimes I struggle with spending $4.99 for a comic book. I struggle with it. Don't ask me why. I just struggle with it, and and so it can be expensive, but it's still fun for me. And now I'm in a position that I can buy. Just because I can buy them, that doesn't mean that I can justify spending the money. There's a difference in that to me. Of course, I love Free Comic Book Day, and by the way, we will be talking this week to the founder of Free Comic Book Day, and I think that's really good. He said that he would talk to me about Free Comic Book Day and what's coming up and how it started. That's going to be sometime this week. I don't know what day exactly. We're still hammering out the details, but Mr. Joe Field, the founder of Free Comic Book Day, will be talking to him and just talking about Free Comic Book Day because May 3rd, Free Comic Book Day will have its 2014 debut. It's only one day a year, and so all you fanboys, fangirls, or people who listen to my show that are not really into comic books, it's a good way to get your kids into comic books because comic books are not only just a throwaway mag. Kids can learn to read because I was reading something the other day about educational comic books, which something I'm working with that. I got so many irons in the fire. I need to focus on one thing, but educational comic books can help your kids read. And there's a study shown that if they can get the visual, especially young boys, the visual and have the same the text with the visual, you're more likely to learn it or grasp the information. And I totally believe that. Because people used to say, "Oh, comic books are just trash," no brain magazines, and they didn't like it. But now comic books are making it into the classroom, which I think is an awesome idea. And if I can get my idea up and running, which that you know, you have to think positive. It will happen. I hope to bring that into the area that I live into, and some of the schools that they have some of these standardized tests to see what the kids have learned. Some of the schools that are not making the grade, I will give that to them as an option when that comes, but I will talk about that at a later time. So I hope you guys are doing good. Tweet me at the 5x5 and just tell me what is your fanboy or fangirl passion. What do you like to look at? What do you like to read? I'm interested in indie comics now. I do the mainstream stuff. And I really didn't do a lot of the indie stuff, but I'm interested now. Some of the stories are really, really good. So they're kind of offbeat and not just really superhero stuff. Just tweet me at the 5x5. The 5 is numeric, or check out the blog at the5x5.blogspot.com. Again, the 5s are numeric. And always, if you have a chance, I know a lot of people have seen the Facebook page, the post that I made for this show earlier. Just give me 5 seconds, or even not even a second. Give me a second and just click like. I would appreciate it if you guys follow my Facebook page. We're going to take a quick break, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. So hopefully I can get this all shoved into an hour, because I have some TV to catch up on, and I need to go to bed because this time change is wearing me out. I don't know if you guys live in a time zone where you have daylight savings time. I do. So right now it's really, although it's 1:15 now, going to be 1:15, my body thinks it's 12, and I should still be leaving work. So maybe maybe that'll work in my work to help me out, so I won't be as tired. But then I'll be tired when I wake up. Anyhow, I'd like to talk about tonight. I got the new Magneto 1 book in my comic book grab. I did receive my heroclix this week. What else is there? We're going to talk about the portrayal of LGBT characters in the community in comic books. There was 2 great articles that I read this week. And I don't know if I told you this guys already, I did get my Kevin Keller books. Bidding on one right now. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but a lot of stuff to talk about, so we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I fight fires and I save lives.
My name's Renee. I'm a cardiologist. I save lives.
My name's Anthony. I'm an EMT. I save lives.
You don't have to be a professional to save a life. Firefighters, doctors, and others save lives. You can too. Don't wait. To learn more about the warning signs and how you can help prevent suicide, visit save.org. In a crisis, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK.
There is no other way. There is no other way. You know your circus tent is falling in on itself, on itself. You took the money and a net of safety for yourself, for yourself. dark night of your sin is closing in on itself, on itself. Your wicked wallet with is growing thin. Blame yourself, yeah, blame yourself.
And we are back. I actually like some of the music that I played during my fanboy show because normally, if you guys have listened to any of the shows, you know I'm an R&B dude and I like the bass, and that's just me. I just like the bass. I'm not a twerker. A man of my age and my size, we don't twerk, so don't get the wrong idea. Thank you for joining me on Fanboy Weekly here at the 5x5. I am David, and I'm so glad that you guys are listening to me whenever, wherever, however you guys are hearing the show. I appreciate it, and thank you for, I'm going to go ahead and say it before I'm done, 700 followers on Spreaker. 700 people thought I was interesting enough to say, hey, look at him. He might have something good to say. Maybe. Not all the time. Sometimes I have some stinkers. And let me tell you, yesterday, guys, this is off topic. I was poisoned. I was poisoned. And I'm writing an angry letter. I'm not going to slander them, but, and I'm going to say I was poisoned. I was sick after I ate this food. Yesterday, I thought I was being slick because I forgot to take my lunch to work or something to make while I was at work. So I happened to be at Walmart, and I'm like, well, let me just grab something that I can throw in the microwave, and that'll be cool. But you get sick of the same things. I'm not eating Hot Pockets anymore. After I seen those videos with the mold in it, I'm not eating those anymore. I can't do it. And I'm tired of eating fast food. Although today I did have Captain D's, which here, I have, there's restaurants that I stopped going to because just the bad service or the bad food or the food quality. Not that I should be going to fast food restaurant anyhow. Guys, I'm not drinking soft drinks anymore, which makes it difficult to get number one. You won't. Well, leave the pop off. I've been drinking sparkling water. I've been talking about sparkling water for months now, and I finally got a new flavor, which is, and I'll probably talk about this again this week, is strawberry lemonade. And when I tell you it's good, it's good. But anyhow, I'm at Walmart, the only place that carries that flavor of sparkling water, by the way. I'm at Walmart, and I said, okay, you need to hurry up because you need to get to work. You need to grab this and go on to work. And so I get the Taipei, I think it's the frozen Chinese food, and I got the sweet and sour chicken, which ended up being sour nasty chicken. And then I also got the egg rolls. When I tell you, I felt like I was dying last night, and never again. Never again. I will go to a Chinese restaurant that is that has a reputation of selling rat and cat meat before I will buy that again, because they tried to kill me. That's all I'm trying to say. Anyhow, I just had to get that out of my system because I didn't do I didn't have a show last night. And I would have talked about it, but I will talk about them. You should check out my other shows, Real Talk with David and Nikki. That's where we'll be talking to the founder of Free Comic Book Day and the 5x5 Late Night Show. And then I have a fun little show that I do while I'm driving. It's more of a podcast because it's pre-recorded. The other shows are normally live. It's called The Drive, and then you can hear me driving and talking and having a little road rage. And sometimes I have a topic, and sometimes I'm just going on about what happened during the day that I thought was funny to me. Everybody doesn't think I'm funny. Ask my mom. Everybody doesn't think I'm funny, including her. But thank you guys. I do appreciate you guys paying a little bit of attention to my little bitty show, and I do this for pure enjoyment and entertainment and a way to talk myself down from a really, really long day, because I have long days. So, we were talking about comic books, and so we'll just start there. This week, at my comic book store, where I still don't feel the love, and they see me, once or twice a week. I still don't feel the love, and I don't do something about that because I don't appreciate being treated like that. Anyhow, I picked up a Magneto number. Actually, one store was sold out, so I probably need to buy another one just to have, because I'm going to read this, and I've dropped this one a couple times. A Magneto #1. Now, if you guys know who Magneto is, he was the bane of Professor X's existence in the X-Men titles. Well, he has his new book, and the front cover, which is the cover of the show today, is he has barbed wire around his mask. Where he used to have the helmet? He has this barbed wire around. Oh. He looks like, see, I didn't even catch this. He looks like Professor X on the front, because now Magneto is bald-headed. Now, I know when he was, disguised as Zorn, remember before, I guess it was maybe a year or two ago, when he was Zorn and the X-Men was having all those problems with being decimated from within, and the Shi'ar was back on Earth, and was that the new X-Men? Was that the part of the new X-Men line? And then Jean Grey had become the Phoenix once again. And from what I've been reading now, she's back, but she's back from the past, and she's in the future. Now she's on trial for all the crimes that the Jean Grey in the current Marvel universe, who is still dead, by the way, committed as the Phoenix. So they're trying to squash her. But I have those books. I really haven't read them. I read the first one. It was kind of bizarre, but they're pushing the Guardians of the Galaxy because, the movie is coming out in August. But on the front cover, it says Magneto 1, of course. I wonder if there's any variants. If there are any variants, let me know. I would like to see the variant covers of this. And the barbed wire is in the shape of his helmet, which that kind of reminds me of the X-Men. The very first X-Men movie, when they gave Magneto a little bit of a and also, what movie was that? It was in First Class. Yeah, in First Class, I believe, which they kind of expanded it and showed you what happened when he was pulling the barbed wire. That's the image I get when I see the first cover page to Magneto #1. He with the barbed wire, that's the image I get when he was a little boy and he was pulling the barbed wire from the concentration camp that he and his parents were in. But this is it's kind of dark. It starts off with this guy telling what's going on, who killed. There's some killing going on, and there's these guys questioning him. But then there's Magneto, which I was like, who is this guy? But it's Magneto bald, and that's why people don't recognize him, because he walks around and he has a 5 o'clock shadow, and it's kind of it's a gritty story. It's done by Bunn, Walter, and Belair. And so it's a good book. I'm probably going to follow this one because I do like how they're taking this. And of course, he's a lone vigilante now. No more Brotherhood of Mutants. He's by himself. And the main scene toward the end where it really gets down and dirty. He's trying to find out who's killing mutants, and there's a murderer who happens to be in jail, so he goes to the police department, and then he finally reveals really cool black. I hope this is the front cover. He kind of looked like Michael Fassbender, so I don't know if this is part because the X-Men movie is coming out really soon. I think is it May? May is coming out. If they're using that to kind of promote it, just looks wise, but the guy ends up being the guys he's looking for, which he's innocent. He said he didn't mean to do it, but there's a machine inside him that is, and this might not that it tie in, but the Days of Future Past are going to have a lot to do with Sentinels. This guy's a Sentinel, so check out Magneto 1 now at your favorite local comic book store, or I'm sure you can buy a copy or two online. I also picked up an Uncanny X-Men number 18. I've been off and on with the X-Men because some of my characters were gone, and I picked up this is the second book I've picked up in recent weeks, and it is, I read something, not to get off topic once again. I read this, there's a blogger that was talking about how Marvel is pulling all of they want to go completely digital. And there was other people that was saying that that's not true, but from what the blogger said, I was at Barnes & Noble today, it didn't stand to be true. He was saying that Marvel's pulling all of their paper copies of regular comic books, the monthly, weekly comic books, from the shelves at Barnes & Noble and bookstores. And he even said comic book stores, but then some of the people who replied to the post were saying, no, that's not true. You know what you're talking about. But there was a lot of comic books, Marvel comic books at Barnes. Well, you know what? No, yeah, there was Marvel comic books at Barnes & Noble today. So I don't know. I can see them moving their comic book line out of Barnes & Noble and just leave them for because Barnes & Noble and places like that sell them like chains, they send them back for credit. Unlike comic book stores, you buy them and you keep them, and they end up going in the 25 cents bin down the road, which is unfortunate that you can't send them back. That would be more lucrative for some of these comic book comic book stores. Donate them, I guess you could do, but so he was saying that they're going to be pulling a lot of so they want to go completely digital because now they're working on the Marvel AR app, which I have some comic books that I've downloaded on their app, and it's just not the same, even though I think it's good and that's probably where we're going, but I don't see comic book stores going out because of this, if it happens to be true. But he stood by his article even with the opposition that people were presenting him. And I wish I don't have it in front of me. I wish that he had said, well, maybe you guys are right, but he stood fast and said that this is what's happening because he had a source close to Marvel that was saying they're yanking the books now out of Barnes Noble, but not necessarily. He didn't say it, but everybody said, well, not necessarily the comic book stores, because I like having a physical copy. I like that, and a lot of people want them to grow in value if it's a key issue, and it incites people to shop and buy, and not everyone has an iPad, Kindle, iPod Touch, Android device. Not everybody has those, so we'll see. I'll keep you guys abreast if that situation happens. But anyhow, the other book that I actually picked up was Uncanny X-Men number 18, like I said. I love the front artwork. I actually, and sometimes the cover art does entice me to buy something, but versus, I know the characters in the storyline. But the cover artwork for Uncanny X-Men number 18 is the image with Cyclops, which I'm not a big Cyclops fan, although I was mad that they killed him in X-Men The Last Stand movie. But this image of him with a gun to his head, it's kind of killer. I would love to see a variant of that too. It's kind of killer, and the story is pretty much, should I tell you guys? Spoiler if you haven't picked it up yet. It's been around for a few weeks. I just happened to pick this up the other day. Kitty Pryde is the one that's holding the gun. Again, she played a big part in Days of Future Past, so I don't know if it has any correlation. And just to keep that name out there, because they're not using her in the same capacity in X-Men Days of Future Past movie that they used her in the graphic novel. But that's a book to pick up. And then the two that I haven't read yet, because I haven't had the time, and I didn't pick this up for a reason the other day, a few weeks ago when it first came out. Big Dexter fan. I didn't finish the series because watching Dexter, the television series, was too much on my heart and blood pressure. I couldn't take it. They were just doing too much. But I enjoyed the series. Jeff Lindsay has created Dexter Down Under and has illustrated, and I'm going to butcher this name, and I do apologize, by Dalibor Taliik. Best you're going to get. And it's the number one. And it's by Marvel as well. God, I'm all in Marvel's Kool-Aid this week. And it is a number one of Dexter Down Under. So I'm really excited to see. And that's him, because from what happened from what I understand from what happened in the television show, he actually disappeared. He wasn't dead. They didn't kill him. He ends up in Australia. So this is going to take off where the series possibly ended. But I'll let you guys know once I read it. And then lastly, I have Wolverine and the X-Men, and this is number one as well. And on the front you have that Quentin guy, Nightcrawler, I think Phantom X is down here at the bottom, and of course the Mohawk Storm. I wanted them to use the Mohawk Storm in Days of Future Past. I wanted to see that. I guess Halle Berry, they could have got a wig for her. She was tripping. They've had horrible wigs all up until this point for her, except for the second maybe. And I like the third hair, but the first hair was horrible. And this hair is more like Halle Berry's hair. It's short, cropped, and white. But that's who's on the cover, and of course Wolverine's in the middle. And you remember the short-lived, and it's actually on. It's on iTunes. I know it's on iTunes, but I think it's also on Netflix. Wolverine the X-Men, the animated series, which I think was only like 13 episodes, which dealt with Jean Grey and Emma Frost and the Phoenix toward the end. Professor X was in a coma, but he was living in the future, communicating with the X-Men in the past. So a lot going on. So I haven't read this yet, so I'm really interested in reading this one. So maybe I'll get to read this tomorrow before I go to work, and I'll have some information about that on the podcast. All right, another break. We'll be back.
Imagine a world where bullying isn't considered a normal part of childhood.
A world where I'm not afraid to go to school.
To speak out.
To be myself.
Loser. A world where I'm not afraid to be caught alone.
Come on, punk.
We have the power to stop the bullying. Speak out.
Speak up.
Educate.
Find out what to look for and how you can make a difference at bullying.org.
Bullying is not kids being kids.
It's not about good homes or bad homes.
It's not a normal part of growing up. I shouldn't be afraid to get on the school bus.
To turn on my computer.
Message. Or walk to my locker. Did you know that a bully will stop his or her behavior in 10 seconds when their peers speak up?
Use your voice.
Hey, leave them alone. We have the power to stop bullying.
Find out more at bullying.org.
Bullying.org.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Where you're not alone.
Welcome back. It is the 5x5 Fanboy Weekly, and I am your host, David. Thank you guys for either joining me right now, or you're listening on podcast, or however you're listening live. Thank you guys. And speaking of bullying, and I always play that because I think it's very, very important, because a lot of comic book nerds, so to speak, it is okay to be a nerd. I'd rather be a nerd with a job, with a good paying job, than a thug in the street, than a cool thug in the street any day. Believe that. But no, I'm so crazy. I play bullying because some of these kids who maybe in comic books, maybe kids don't think it's cool to sit around and read comic books or collect figurines or play the card games or like Pokemon or any of the stuff that's out there. And there's a plethora of stuff out there for people like me or the younger me, more than I had access to when I was a kid. It's okay, and so I play that a lot. But speaking of bullying, let me see if I can find it. The VP of animation, I just had it, Stu Snyder, of Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network has that stand up to bullying campaign, Speak Up, and you see it on the Cartoon Network all the time. Well, the VP is gone. He is gone. I don't know if you guys know who Stu Snyder is. I didn't. I just happened to catch it when I was kind of looking at some stuff this afternoon. And I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to talk about today. And what obviously happened, and I don't watch Cartoon Network at that much. I know regular shows on there, and Adventure Time is on there, and Life with Steven, which I think is absolutely hilarious, and so is Uncle Grandpa. It's stupid as hell, but I think it's funny. And some of us adults, then they have the Adult Swim, and a lot of these shows aren't made for children. They also have Teen Titans Go, which I think they should have stuck with Young Justice if that was the one, or the regular Teen Titans, because I think Teen Titans is just silly, but I'm looking at that I'm looking at that from an adult perspective, and so maybe kids like it. I don't know, but this guy had actually tried to make the Cartoon Network with less cartoons. Here's what the article says. This is on cartoonbrew.com. It's in the business section. It said, in a world of dumb animation execs, Stu Snyder made a sincere effort to be the dumbest of the pack. He was brilliant. He was the brilliant visionary who led a campaign to remove cartoons from Cartoon Network. Yeah, that didn't sound good, right? Now he's leaving. When Snyder became the executive VP and COO of Turner Animation in 2007, he made the shift toward live action and reality shows. I didn't know. They said they did a research in terms of what kids wanted to watch. But again, I think you had to keep in perspective, there are a ton of fanboys that are not just kids. Kids have the Disney Channel, and there's a lot of stuff. I know my nephew now, he's in that age to where that Disney stuff is not all that funny. He likes Lab Rats, which is, I think it's on Disney as well. But I don't know whether he likes it. Anyhow, but there's people my age and that nerd college guy or girl, and that likes the whole anime stuff, which I'm not a big anime person, never have been. But anyhow, he said, in terms of what kids wanted to watch, whether they were watching TV at the time on our network and across all networks, he said that in 2009, he said, I think these new shows, whether reality or live scripted, really open up and broaden the audience so you can be thinking about new advertising categories. His forward-thinking approach included adding golfing and military training shows to Cartoon Network. Yeah, they should have fired him. Why did it take so long? When he added golf to the Cartoon Network and military training, that was a red flag. Anyhow, predictably, his actions were not appreciated by viewers who liked tuning into Cartoon Network to watch cartoons. After the success of the regular show, which I mentioned, and Adventure Time, and the complete and total failure of his live-action initiative, Snyder was forced to reconsider his position. Snyder, who is leaving his post at the end of March, currently serves as the president and chief operating officer of Turner Turner Animation Unit, the LA Times makes clear that Snyder is not departing by choice. Snyder's departure comes in the wake of a new management regime taking the reins at Turner. In January, John Martin was promoted from Chief Financial Officer of Time Warner to Chief Executive of Turner. As part of the restructuring, David Levi, Turner's head sales and distribution, was named president. Tensions between Snyder and Levi led to the former's decision to resign. A person familiar with the matter said who requested anonymity because of the sensitivity of the situation. And then the article ends with, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out, Stewie." So Cartoon Network hopefully will bring fresh and new programming, more to what Cartoon Network has always been. So you never know. I didn't really know about the guy. I've seen him do promo spots for the Stand Up to Bullying Speak Up campaign, which was very successful, and I actually applaud him on that. But adding golfing and military to the Cartoon Network just sounds silly to me. So what else do we have going on today? Let's see. I did receive my my heroclix that I ordered from Hot Topics last week. I don't know if you guys know I ordered them, and I did get some new ones. I got a Zod, and I got 3 Superman. Might be giving those away because I don't need 3 of them. I just need 1 or 2. My nephew might need 1, but they were really, really cheap, so I ordered a whole bunch of them, thinking I was going to get something spectacular, but I think all the ones I got were common. So I'm like, I wasn't too happy, but the thing is, I didn't spend a lot of money. I'm getting more into heroclix. My nephew and I kind of had a makeshift game the other day, and it was fun. We were laughing the whole time we were doing it. But we were doing very basic play, and I need to get some maps. So anybody has any information on heroclix, I would love to talk to you. Love to have you on the show, because I know there's a lot of people. It's growing. They have tournaments here locally, and one of the comic book stores I know, and all these maps and all this stuff is it's really interesting to me. So if you know anything about heroclix and has some information for me, would love to hear it. So tonight was The Walking Dead. I think we have 3 episodes left now, and it featured Sasha, Bob, and Maggie, and then Norm and Beth. And not to give too much away if you haven't seen it, it was crazy. Norm, I call it Norman Reedus. Daryl and Beth ended up at a funeral parlor, and then all hell breaks loose, and Beth disappeared. Not gonna tell you how. She's gone, but she's not dead. And then Maggie's out to find Glenn at this place where they've been seeing maps, telling her if you. And my thing is, I would be scared it would be another Woodbury. If you're alive and want to survive, come here. Terminus is the place, and they're all going there, even though there was a struggle between Maggie and Sasha, and then Bob was kind of the sound mind, the whole situation. They end up killing a whole bunch of zombies. So tonight was a good episode, but the next 3, there's only 3 left. And thing is, why haven't we've only seen Rick in 1 or 2 episodes since they've come back, and Carl and Michonne, where are they at? We haven't heard their story. And then Glenn and the whole little army regime that end up walking, but at the very end of this show you see him find that same map, and then I guess he's thinking like Maggie thinks, we need to get to Terminus, because that's a Terminix. Terminus, because hopefully everybody will reconvene there. But I don't want to be let down, and want it to be like Woodbury and the Governor. But that's one thing that Walking Dead does. They give you all this dark, and it's almost. This is why I stopped watching Being Human. There was so much the dark nature, and between the human connections and what's going on, it was so dark. I just couldn't watch it anymore. Even though it was a good show, I'm like, I can't watch that no more. It hurts my stomach. So check out Walking Dead Sunday nights on it's an AMC. And also last Tuesday, there was Arrow, which was phenomenal as always. Of course, Slade is in the mix. Diggle is gone. So I don't know where he's going to be. And Slade is now monitoring all their moves inside the house because he placed little cameras all over the place. What I thought was funny, then you found out what really happened on the ship and why Slade is mad. And I still don't understand why he's mad. You know, he cut the one guy's arm off on the boat. And I'm gonna say I like Sarah more now. I didn't like her at first. I didn't want her to be want her to be Black Canary, which from what I've read, she's not gonna be Black Canary very much longer. She'll probably get through the season, but I think next year they're gonna make Laurel Black Canary like she should be. And then where is the Flash? Where is the Flash? We're supposed to see the actual Flash. Before the end of the year. I don't know how many episodes they have left, but they couldn't have many left either. And of course, you know, there's going to be a cliffhanger, and I don't know if I can wait until the end to next season to see what happens, but I got to finish the season first, right? So that's getting really good. Not going to spoil too much on that. And then Teen Wolf. Why didn't y'all tell me they was getting down like this on Teen Wolf? But I won't get to see. I'm a week behind, and you know Styles is all possessed, and now the new Asian girl, her mother is some badass supernatural person, and she says she's gonna take him out, and he's like, I'm not scared. But that was kind of hot. And then lastly, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Did they just come back this week? Yes. It was phenomenal. And from what they're saying now, this is the show that the fanboys and the fangirls and the comic book nerds and all of us want it to be. They're bringing more ties in, and this is supposedly going to tie into Captain America, Winter Soldier, Sith Tuesday. Lady Sith, she's going to be. Sith is going to be on. I said Sith. This is not Star Wars, David. Lady Sith, she's going to be on an episode Tuesday from Asgard because there's another Asgardian on Earth causing problems. But they've saved Sky with this blood, which or this chemical they couldn't find. And I love Bill Paxton. I've always liked Bill Paxton and everything he's done. He's another agent, but they introduce the Kree, which that's how they obviously saved Agent Coulson. So they have so many things going on. They said, okay, this is the show that everybody wanted to be. They didn't want to start off that way because they didn't want it to be, oh, boom, boom, pow, pow, pow every week. We need to build this show, and Josh Whedon is a god. And there was an article on www.fool.com. Now, this might be, maybe I shouldn't have read this article, because the ratings have dropped a little bit. You know, it was such a powerhouse at the beginning. It's in a slump. In the most recent episode, it was called Tahiti. It only drew 5.11 million viewers. It was only a 1.7 rating among 18 to 49 year olds. But you know, The Voice started again, and people, I don't know why people are still on this whole voice kick. Aren't y'all over that by now? And and so they're like, we're not changing anything. This is what we want to do. And they're doing it. I think they're doing it very well. But the next episode is going to start a story arc called Uprising, and they've changed the name. It's no longer Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's just called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then Uprising is the event that they're going to start on Tuesday. And so, but they say they're struggling on ABC, and they said, but the fans have held out because of the potential. But they said the viewership has dropped significantly since the show's pilot premiered last year. and they're now we have this whole uprising thing, and this is going to lead up to Captain America, Winter Soldier. And they said if uprising proves popular, it can turn around the show that has managed to hold on to a faithful audience, but has had trouble finding genuine success. And I thought it was doing really good. I don't think it's going to go away. It's going to get a second season, most definitely. They said before Uprising, part of the problem that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had so far in one of pacing. Much of the first half of the season was spent setting up a few major events, and the plot segments that didn't build to those events seemed largely tacked on. It was clear that the show was trying to establish a larger overall plot while letting the individual episodes stand alone, but for the most part, the main plot seemed to crawl, and the individual episodes were largely hit or miss. I agree with that, because they gave us some more, like, oh wow, this is really going to go down, but then they pull back, like, nah, we ain't doing that right now. So with Sith coming on, all to me, and I've read it in an article too, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just a big advertising campaign for the movies. And as long as the movies are still successful, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not going anywhere. They're very powerful. Marvel, Disney is very, very powerful. The movies, I think they've grossed $11 billion. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've grossed a ton of money. And so now, since they're tying in these characters that we've seen on the big screen, introducing these big galactic star characters from the comic book, this show can go anywhere now. I would like they would, I hate the fact that they, I guess, kind of in the movies they do the same thing. The mutant element's not there. We do have Deathlock coming on, but the mutant thing's not there. Have the clairvoyant. Is the clairvoyant a mutant? What if it's Destiny? Wouldn't it be crazy if it was Destiny? That would be cool. And then they can bring Anna Paquin in as Rogue, that whole Destiny Mystique Rogue connection. That would be cool. I would love to see that played out on live action television. But so we'll see. We'll see what it happens. But so Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Uprising will come out on Tuesday, and I'm excited to see where they're going to take it, especially with the last image we see is because Coulson didn't want what's her name, Sky, to be injected with the formula, but it worked, and so I knew she wasn't going to die. They was going to save her some way, but so hopefully that whole Kree. So the Kree are obviously on Earth. They're the Kree Empire, the warriors. They're on Earth, so. And maybe we'll get some Skrulls, who knows? They can go anywhere. My thing is, throw in Spider-Woman. She ain't doing nothing. Although, see, and this would be another jumping off point if they use Spider-Woman, because she's getting her own Jessica Jones. If she's getting her own show on the Marvel Netflix exclusives coming up in subsequent years. That could be a good tie-in, because she ain't doing it right now. Throw her in the mix. That would be cool. That's kind of she's had some successes in the comic books. I've always liked Spider-Woman. Throw her in there. She don't got nothing to do. She can be in there, and she's a spy. We know she's a spy. She works for what's the one thing she works for that she had a little mini series that was tracking the squirrel, so bring her in. That would be hot. That's a Josh Whedon. Listen to me, that's actually a good idea. Anyhow, we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going way over than I planned to go over because I'm running my mouth. We'll take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk about something that's actually another thing that's dear to me, is the portrayal of LGBT characters, superheroes, whatnot in the comic books. We'll be right back.
Like my red cape. Super. Ooh.
Can you please pour me a handle?
Now hit the sirens. On the rocks.
Growing up, I was confused, like the cars up over my head. Confused, I tap my fingers and then wind up dead. My mom and dad, they wouldn't listen when I realized I'm a hero and I'm on a mission. Living that life, I'm considered a myth. rockin' body sober after drinking a fifth. I'm talking mad balloons and they're shaking the fist. Pulling bad guys over with the flick of my wrist. Till my rhymes so hot, MCs are melting. 537 degrees Kelvin, that's 264 degrees Celsius. Don't ask me what the fuck the Fahrenheit equivalent is. But I need a superhero partner. Team up and battle crime like Crest Battle Starter. Now we fight crimes while we drop rhymes. Ladies form lines while we say what we say. Superheroes, every city has a real. Like the streets of Gotham City at Batman. We're on the call any time of day. We're making mad scientists aching like clay. Last line of defense to stop calamity. When it matters, we're like Holmes and Hannity. Doing that shit you only see in movies. Then rocking that after party with groupies. Yo, let me introduce you, man. Who has my back in the pins? Bad karate skills, I slap the black off the ninjas. You ready?
Yeah.
I'ma pass this shit.
What? And it goes like this. Thursday night hitter, they call me Balboa. Teeth gritting bitch, tapping back door blower. Master of plays, I got a statue of bronze. You be rolling like Chachi, I'll be fucking like Bonds. No, Mrs. C, I wanna eat your pie. The MILF hunter tapped that action last night. Cause I use Coors Light to get a bitch right. 6-pack later, I'll be laying some pipe. I'm really hard, but not made of steel. I asked Ray Riley if the boobies were real. Yeah, I dig that.
But for you, that's what he meant.
A master of big.
What's your base for jail?
Superheroes, every city has a real. Like the streets of Gotham City at Batman. We're on the call any time of day. We're making mad scientists aching like clay. Last line of defense to stop calamity. When it matters, we're like Holmes and Hannity. Doing that shit you only see in movies. And rocking that after party with groupies. Yo, criminals be coming out at night like the Wolfman. I'ma make it right cause I am the solution. Cleaning up the town like there was pollution. Cause I know how to fight and I know kung fu. And the heart of the lion and the dragons too. And I got bare arms like the Constitution.
Superheroes, big boots.
Superheroes, every city has a real. Like the streets of Gotham City at Batman. We're on the call any time of day. We're making mad scientists aching like clay.
And we're back. I know I play that song all the time, but it's the only song that I have that has like superheroes in it. I know, right? I kind of suck. Thank you guys for joining me. Wherever, however, whenever you're listening to this podcast about my whole fanboy geekiness parade that I put on sometimes. Well, actually, pretty consistently now on Sunday nights here on Spreaker.com. Don't forget to check out my other shows on Spreaker and iHeartRadio. Real Talk with David and Nikki, the 5x5 Late Night Show, and The Drive. So, before I talk about the portrayal of LGBT themes and characters in the comic books, I want to take a quiz, and this is what I thought was hilarious, because when I took it the first time, which I'm going to answer the questions the same way, it came out to a character that I would never think I was, but I could have kind of been, maybe. Anyhow, so this quiz by BuzzFeed Geeky, BuzzFeed.com on Geeky. This is called "What Member of the X-Men Are You?" And so I was hoping maybe I'll get Phoenix, because I could be Phoenix, right? And I'm pretty smart, so I think I could be Professor X, but I was so totally wrong. So the first question was, someone is making fun of you. How do you deal with it? You know, in my mind is what I have a lot. I'm very quick-witted, so I just probably lash them out with my tongue. But the responses were: accuse them of being a bigot, laugh at their pettiness, threaten to beat them up, humiliate them, roll your eyes, ignore them and stand strong, pretend it doesn't bother you, wallow in self-pity, kill them with no mercy. I would probably just roll my eyes, because talk is cheap, and whatever somebody says about me really doesn't matter. The second question was, what do you like to do when you're alone? Yeah, that's not a question to be asking me. Meditate, computer stuff, gardening, go out to the woods, go to church, work out at the gym, catch up on reading, general mischief, drawing, and painting. It had to be computer stuff because I'm on my computer way too much. What do you feel insecure about? Let's see. I'm not very fun. I'm too aloof. People dismiss me for being too young. I have a very dark past. I just feel ugly. I'm afraid people think I'm crazy. I worry that people think I'm a prude. I have a very bad temper, and I have a weird accent. You know what? I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I just feel ugly sometimes because I'm single and lonely. Not really. The next question is, how far are you willing to go to get what you want? I'm ready to make difficult decisions. I'll never compromise my ethics, any means necessary. I'll sacrifice myself if needed. I will not become a monster to fight monsters. I'm ready to give up everything I hold dear. There are some lines I cannot cross. I'm willing to lie and cheat. I'll kill if I have to. Only thing, I will never compromise my ethics, and that's one thing. If you listen to some past shows, regular shows, other than this fanboy show, I will not let anybody compromise my integrity, and that's very important to me. So no, my ethics are very important to me as well. Next, how do you feel about the future? It's up to us to make it a better place. I don't want to get old. It will prove I was always right. Time is a flat circle. It would only be good if we prevail today. We will all suffer and die. I have faith things will turn out okay. Nothing is carved in stone. Who knows what will happen. I always like to look at the good. I can be a pessimist at times, but I deep down, I have faith that things will always turn out okay. That's why I don't really worry a lot. How would you describe your love life? This is easy. Unlucky, sleazy, intense, lonely. I get involved with a lot of jerks, a total mess. I get around, unrequited, and people fight over me. It's going to be, I won't say lonely because I've been single for quite a long time. By choice, I'm busy. And relationships take a lot of work. Don't make time for that. What's your greatest weakness? Too obsessive, indecisive, too vain, too negative, too judgmental, too stubborn, too greedy, no self-control, too self-righteous. Although I believe somebody recently called me self-righteous, but that's because they were jealous and they were a hater. I can be indecisive. Like when I couldn't decide on what to get for lunch the other day, so I ended up getting that Taipei that poisoned me. So I was indecisive, and that's why I made a poor decision. How would your friends describe you? Generous, honorable, passionate, focused, impulsive, wise, fabulous, smart, determined. Well, since a lot of my friends are gay, they would want to say smart. My straight friends would say smart or determined, but the majority of my friends would say fabulous because I'm pretty fabulous. And I get the same results. I think I answered all the questions the same way. And guess who I am? Nightcrawler. Yeah, I guess he's blue. But yeah, I got Nightcrawler. I'm not Nightcrawler. It says you don't have an easy life, which is true, but that doesn't keep you from having an optimistic outlook on life. That's true too. You're kind and generous to all and know how to have fun even when things seem very bleak. And that part, the description of me getting night, that is totally me. So go to BuzzFeed.com and take the X-Men. What X-Men member are you? And tweet me your results. Because I want to know if somebody gets somebody else than Nightcrawler. Because I like this quiz. This is actually one of the more fun ones that I've taken. I take quizzes on my other shows all the time. But I'm Nightcrawler. Live with it. So, if you guys have listened to like the last 2 or 3, I've been, like I said earlier, I've been looking for old issues of comic books, and while doing that, I was looking for gay portrayals in comic books and gay characters, and then I came across a blog or article about Dan Parent's Archie Comics character Kevin Keller. I did recently, I don't know if I told you guys that last week, because I don't think I got him this week. It had to be last week. And I would have talked about it on Sunday. Anyhow, I did get my Veronica 202 and 205. I'm currently looking for 10 and Life with Archie number 63, where Kevin Keller gets married. I'm looking for those online, and I missed out on one today on eBay. Now, those eBay people who own the eBay, and if somebody's bidding, you got to watch it to the minute because they don't play. You blink, boom, it's gone. That's what happened. But anyhow, so that made me look for other ones. I'm like, well, since I'm a gay comic book collector, and I like everything geeky, and I love. Have you guys checked out the gaycomicgeeks.com or org or whatever it is, his blog? Check out his pictures. I'm not gonna say much more about it, but Paul, yeah, check it out. Anyhow, he has an awesome website and an even better YouTube page, and I like reading that. It's NSFW for his website, just by the way, if any of you kiddos are out there. Another comic book that I've been looking for that had a huge story and also the gay story was Batwoman number 17. I almost got that today, but I also lost on that. But I will have this book eventually. Batwoman number 17. Remember when she proposed to Maggie in the comic book, and then they wanted to have the wedding in the book, and the DC was like, nah, we ain't doing that. Then the writers who created and were writing for Batwoman, they walked out like, you guys won't let us do this. We brought this character this far. You won't let her have her moment. So we're going away. So that, you remember that whole drama. And then, and I didn't know this, Young Avengers number 8. And this article is on the Advocate, www.advocate.com, in the arts and entertainment section, and it's called The Years 2013 Top 10 LGBT Moments in Comic Books. So that was, they started at 5 for some reason. Anyhow, that one was 5. Young Avengers is number 4. Number 8, I have the movie. I never collected the comic book, but obviously the teen heroes Hulking and Wiccan are one of the comic land's most beloved couples. I will be finding this out for myself. The groundbreaking current series is significant thanks to how the young gay teens relationship is a major driving force in the series. So I think that's interesting. And then we have one called Saga, number 17. It's about this says about Freaking Time, a popular sci-fi series features some queers. Seriously, Saga, the comic book, showcases plenty of diverse sex throughout the series, including images of gay oral sex. I had to find this issue. In this issue, which is Saga number 17, you finally see 2 green-skinned alien reporter guys having a snuggle fest in bed. So that's interesting. And then we had number 2 was Hawkeye number 14, and she's the chick. I didn't know that either. Praise the comic book guys for this amazingly heartfelt and witty issue. The young female Hawkeye, who's also a member of the aforementioned Young Avengers, spends the entire story hell-bent on saving a gay couple's wedding day after their precious orchids were stolen. Hawkeye knows how important the right decor is to some gay men and will stop at nothing to find the culprit and help out the gay couple. The entire issue is a funny, touching love story that's so sweet and wonderful it actually succeeded in warming our code-critical fanboy hearts. And then, of course, Kevin Keller number 10. It was number 1, and it was actually the GLAAD award winner last year. Archie's gay buddy Kevin Keller breaks another barrier for comics aimed at young readers by getting the first same-sex smooch on panel, and that's not all, because this issue also takes on the threat of the faux 1 million moms. The anti-gay group in the process, as well as giving us an appearance by out talk show host Ellen DeGeneres. This is another book I have to have. I can get it, but I'm just waiting for the right price. Ellen DeGeneres, the entire town rallies to support the gay teen. That's interesting. So those are the top 5. Oh, this is why I need to. That was 5-1. 10. Let's see. 10 was Uncanny X-Men number 14. The X-Men have a number of LGBT characters in their extensive lineup, which makes sense as their entire existence being feared and hated simply because they exist. That's why a lot of gay people and black people and other ethnicities kind of can relate to X-Men. That's why it's been such a staple of comic books and collecting and imagery, and so successful, because of the like I said earlier, how people can relate to the struggle that they go through, as whether you're a black person, you're a gay person, you're a nerd, you're a geek, you're a woman. You can relate to the stories that the X-Men tell. Let's see. Being feared and hated simply because they exist is an allegory for our queer reality. From North Star, remember he got married a couple years ago, and the little green lizard boy to sexy lovers Shatterstar and Richter. When did Shatterstar and Richter start having a relationship? Nobody told me. Marvel's Merry Mutants are a breeding ground for homosexuality, and Uncanny X-Men number 14 introduced one more to the fold when team member Benjamin Deeds, aka Morph, revealed he's gay. Morph is gay. They done made Morph gay. That's awesome. Number 9, Afterlife with Archie. I've seen these books in the comic book store. And it's that whole zombie thing going on because zombies are cool now. I haven't picked one up yet, but obviously Afterlife with Archie number 2, zombies invade the sugary sweet vanilla goodness of Archie comics in the spooky fun series, smartly written by out gay author Roberto Aguirre Sancasa. This gory mashup of two very different comic book genres works surprisingly well and gets extra points for featuring a lesbian couple. The sapphic subplot featuring two queer women of color on the down low, the Latin Ginger Lopez and the African American Nancy Woods. What African American you know name is Nancy? Her name is Nikita for real. Anyhow, struggling to accept their same-sex love, this book gives plenty for both horror and gay comic fans to enjoy. I'm going to go grab that too. See, this is costing me money. I spent about $30 tonight, right? And then X-Men number 8. Not only does this adjectiveless X-Men comic book series feature a kick-ass team of ladies, I knew this was beginning. But it also serves up some of the much-deserved panel time to Butch Mutant Bling. Never heard of that one. An out and proud, tough as nail lesbian. This issue lands on the countdown for giving their former fireworks spewing mutant and current vampire, Jubilee, her first lady-on-lady lip lock. So is Jubilee going to be gay? Number 7 was Extreme X-Men number 10. It was a recently canceled series, not only showcased gay comic book icon Dazzler in lead role, but also included an alternate dimensional Wolverine and an alternate dimensional hunky Jim Bunny Hercules kissing. And man, is all sorts of hot. And then number 6 was Fearless Defenders number 12, also canceled. Wide variety of lady heroes battling the baddies and saving the world. Ended the book by getting Biz Nasty in a tent with a dancer turned inhuman, Ren Kimura. It's a shame we won't see more Annabelle and her liberated sexuality. Okay, so those are your 10. So I'll have them listed on the blog if I went a little bit too fast for you. And that article was from the advocate.com, advocate.com. So look that up and I'll have links as well. That was a really good article. I enjoyed that. So I'm going to try to find all those books. If I can get all those books, if somebody can send me them books, I'd appreciate it. If I can get all those books, I'd be a really, really happy man because I think it's important. And you know, it's time to have that portrayal of life in comic books, and it looks like that Marvel is the one that's kind of spearheading the charge, even though Batwoman from DC is in there as well. And then another article, and I'm not going to go through it because this is pretty extensive. Comics with Pride. And this comes from comicsalliance.com. Pride, it says Comics Pride, 50 comics and characters that resonate with LGBT readers. And of course they feature Kevin Keller, Richter and Shadowstar, Cater Die. These are ones I've never, the Max, which I remember that's a Wildstorm comic, Little Lulu, really, Big Barda, of course Dazzler. There's 50. There's things I've never heard before. The Watchman made the list. Cake, Diesel Sweeties, Tank Girl, which I kind of knew. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Willow, we all knew that. And then there's a whole bunch more, and so check out that article. I think it's important to have that imagery in comics now, and I know a lot of people won't agree with that because you know, comic books were seemingly for children, but just like with television shows, if something you don't want your child to be exposed to, you have the right to close the book or turn off the television and not look or read it. And with that being said, I think I am out of fanboy goodness for this week. I thank you guys for joining me like always. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your day. Thank you guys for listening. I will see you next time.